Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. We are pleased to be joined by the Purdue baseball head coach. Of course, that is Greg Goff. How's it going, man?
It's going great, Casey. Good to be with you today, buddy.
So let's kind of just talk about how the year's going so far for you guys. I know practices have gone underway, and season's going to be up in about a month or two, a month or so from now.
Isn't that crazy, Casey? It's amazing how time flies. We came back to school a couple of weeks ago, right after the new year, and have been in small groups up until this point. And then we got one more week of that, and then we'll start team practice 3 weeks from our first game. So it's going fast, but I tell you, the weather has been absolutely awesome. Today we'll be outside again. So I'm really, really excited about the preparation that we've had.
Yeah. So kind of just talk about the players returning and just where everyone's going to be at around the diamond.
Well, getting off to the best start in school history last year, 16-0, was pretty amazing. We have a lot of those hitters back from last year's team. 7 of the 9 starters are back on the offensive side of things. So we're really, really excited about the offensive side. We had a few changes with our pitching staff and having Calvin Shapiro back. He wasn't with us last year from an injury. He'll be back this year along with CJ Backer, Cal Stevens, and we added some really good ones. So, we're really, really excited, Casey, to be honest with you, about starting the spring and continue to build this program where we want it to go.
So let's kind of go around the diamond, kind of take me through where what positions are at. Where do you think everything's going to go, starting with the infield and then the outfield?
Sure. Well, Cam Thompson returns at first base. And we've worked him more in the outfield this year as well. Jake Parr is a guy that's been here for a long time and has a chance. He's really made some progress and has a chance to get in that lineup some this year as well at first base. So those two guys really are guys really competing for that position. We feel good about both of them. If we need to move Cam to the outfield and play Jake at first, we can do that, and we can play Cam at first as well. So those two guys, and the guy Kenan Taylor is another guy that has been playing some over at first base. Those three guys kind of alternate over there. But if we started tomorrow, it'd probably be Cam or Jake, depending on who we're facing as far as right or left-handed pitcher. So second base is Paul Tate's played there last year. And he's been working there some this year, but we also have Lucas Cook and Ty Gill. Ty was here last year, but as a freshman, he's really made a lot of progress. And Lucas Cook's the guy we brought in to play short, to be honest with you. And Evan Albrecht decided to come back for his 5th year. I think it's his 6th, 7th, 8th year. No, really, he's decided to come back for his 5th year, and so it really solidified our infield. Having Evan back, and so now giving us opportunity to move Lucas to second base. And then third, we moved Paul over there. And then we got another guy named Joe Stevens that's also been working over there. So we have a really good infield. We did lose Troy Viola from last year, which is a really, really good player for us at third base. But we feel like we got some really good players to come in and really feel good about, where we are in the infield.
Yeah. Let's go to the outfield. What are we going to expect there?
Well, we got Michael Bowden back. He's been a 3-year starter for us, played left field a lot for us last year because Curtis was here. Curtis was drafted. And so we moved, Michael back over to center field. And if we started tomorrow, he would probably, be, in center field. Cooper Kornblum's a transfer that we got from Wichita State. Again, a guy that's a baseball player that's played for the last 2 or 3 years for the Shockers. And we ended up picking him up in the transfer portal. Jake Jarvis and Sam Franco are 2 guys that were here last year that are competing for right field. And we've added some guys to the outfield as well. So we feel like we have a great competition going out there, to be honest with you. It's been a lot of fun as far as, watching those guys compete, because they know they take a day off, somebody's going to take their job.
Yeah. Catching wise, where are we at there?
Well, we got Jake Staller that returns. Jake caught a lot last year for us, and he's really, really good defensively. One of the best defensive catchers, I think, in the league. So he'll be back. And then we got Connor Cascanet is another young man that we brought in from the JUCO ranks that had a really good year. And we got Steve Ramirez, another guy that decided to come back for the extra year, and add really some stability to that position. Last year at the end of the year, he ended up catching those games in the conference tournament. So we feel like we've got three really good options. We got a freshman, also Luke Gaffney, that his time is coming. But we feel like, again, we got some really good options behind the plate, Casey.
Yeah. Pitching wise, where are we at there?
That's the key, right? I mean, that's, it doesn't, how you score 10 runs, you got to be really good on the mound. And, having CJ Backer return, I thought last year down the stretch, he threw some big games for us, beat Michigan, on Friday night here to really help us win that series against Michigan last year. He's definitely a guy that will be in their rotation. Having Calvin Shapira back is another guy that, was our number one guy. He's our Friday guy 2 years ago, and went down with an injury last year. And so he's back this year. We got Jonathan Blackwell as a transfer in from Coastal Carolina that threw a lot for them last year. He's a guy that's in the rotation probably somewhere. Kyle Stevens, a guy we used out of the bullpen a lot last year. Love his competitive spirit. We're, at this point trying to get him to be a starter. So, we got those four guys. We got Griffin Loman's another guy that we've got to figure out what role. He's been kind of on the back end of things the last few years, and, feel good about Griffin. We really have a good nucleus of guys coming back off of our staff. And then we added some more JUCO guys and a couple of transfers. I think will give us a really good opportunity to be one of the best, pitching staffs in the league this year.
Yeah. Let's talk about the league a little bit. Obviously there will be some change, 3 new coaches added there, of course, with Jim Foster at Northwestern, Tracy Smith at Michigan, and then, and of course, Bill at Ohio State. What's that going to be like? And of course, the Big Ten has proven yet again, it's up there.
It is, Casey. I tell you, a guy being from the South my whole career, and then coming up here for the last few years, to be honest with you, I mean, it is amazing. These 3 new coaches that are coming into the league, look at their track record, what they've done. They are tremendous. They are going to continue to elevate our program to new heights. And I think, as far as what I see and what I've, had opportunity to experience over the last few years, our league just continues to get better. We're starting to hold a lot more players from the North into the league and keeping them from going south and playing in the SEC and the Big 12. So I'm really excited about it. I think the talent level, the draft, as you see at the end of the year, all those numbers are continuing to go up, which is awesome.
So let's talk about this for a second. You guys got off to a really good start last year. Kind of talk about where you guys are at to start the season.
Well, we feel really good about our offense. To be honest with you, when you return 7 to 9 hitters, and we finished second in the league in the Big Ten in offense last year, first in stolen bases, you feel really good about that. So we've had an opportunity to return those guys, and that gives us a lot of confidence with our offense. Really the pitching part of it, who's going to develop, who's going to step up. A lot of these guys haven't thrown in Division I baseball, and so those are the things I think we're going to have to find out early in the season this year. And that's why, we play those 4-game series every weekend to get an opportunity for those guys to be prepared to when we start the Big Ten play.
Yeah. So getting into Big Ten play, I know that, we don't play every team in the league, but overall, what's that going to be like? How do you think the league's really, going to look this year? And, as I mentioned, 3 new coaches.
Yep.
Everyone's going to be, pretty solid because everyone's got a solid team.
There's no doubt. There's nobody in this league that is not going to be very good, to be honest with you. Rutgers should have got into the NCAA tournament last year, to be honest with you. So, sometimes you have to bite the bullet to get where we want to go. I feel like this year we'll have, 4 to 6 teams, into a regional this year, to be honest with you. I think a lot of guys are returning in the league. A lot of older guys are returning. Maryland, again, has got a lot of quality guys that had a great year for them last year. Rutgers, I know, has that chip on their shoulder because they didn't get in and had such a great year and won 40 games. And Michigan and Ohio State and Iowa, Coach Heller out there, all those guys in our league. I mean, they do a tremendous job. And I'm telling you, I'm excited about our season. I think what you're going to see is the Big Ten getting off to a really good start in the preseason and continue to win those games early on.
All right. Well, Greg, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us, and best of luck this season. We'll catch up with you later in the year.
All right. Thanks so much, Casey. Have a great day. Bowler up.